This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Showers this afternoon, a top of 17 with the 3 o'clock news. I'm Michaela Kamara.
Win your slice of paradise at Henley Beach, worth $4 million with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery.
The state government's new COVID legislation is set to pass Parliament after it secured support from upper house independent MPs. The changes to SA's public health emergency laws will come into effect in July. A committee will be formed to oversee the use of the legislation. Meantime, 2 more women have died and there have been 3,773 new COVID cases in the past 24 hours. 246 people are in hospital, 7 in ICU. A person has died after being hit by a train in Adelaide's west this morning. The pedestrian was crossing the tracks at Alberton just before midday when they were struck. The boom gates are down at the Fussell Place crossing and trains have been stopped in both directions. Motorists are asked to avoid the area. A physio and their patient have been taken to hospital with minor injuries after a stolen car slammed into a prospect practice. The incident happened just before 11 this morning on Churchill Road. Police are searching for the driver and their passenger who fled the scene. Checks revealed the Kia had been stolen during a break-in at Glengarry overnight. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese says he'll release the cost of Labor's policies on Thursday. Mr Albanese has repeatedly refused to say if budget deficits would be higher under his government just days out from the election. He says Labor's costings will be released after the party makes all its announcements.
Now, what we have done during this campaign is be responsible. We've been fiscally responsible in all of the statements that we've made. We have a couple more announcements to go. We have until Saturday.
The Morrison government has released the cost of its election promises, showing they'll drain the budget a little over $2 billion over 4 years. Ukraine says over 260 soldiers inside the besieged Azovstal plant in Mariupol for more than 80 days have been evacuated. The BBC's Julian Bedford has more.
It's not yet clear whether this is the end of the defence of Mariupol, the bloodiest single engagement of the Russian campaign. But the Ukrainian Defence Ministry has confirmed about half of the troops thought to have been inside the Azovstal steelworks have been evacuated. Some of the most grievously wounded have been taken to Novoazovsk in Russian-controlled territory. President Zelensky said the International Red Cross and the UN had been involved in the operation, adding that Ukraine needed its heroes alive.
At least 4,000 people have been hospitalised in Iraq after a sandstorm turned the skies around the capital orange. It's the 8th sandstorm to descend on the country since mid-April. The thick cloud forced the closure of airports, schools and offices. Now tuning to FIVEAA Sport.
For Gold Service Audiology, book your free consult today at connecthearing.com.au.
The prospect of Hawthorn returning to the finals was one of the factors that's seen James Sicily sign a 5-year contract extension. The Hawks defender says Melbourne is one source of inspiration.
Definitely is to play in big games and challenge for silverware again, and Melbourne have shown that it doesn't take too long to turn it around and become a really formidable team as they are now.
Richmond superstar Dustin Martin would have the blessing of the club if he was to finish his career at another club. The triple Norm Smith medalist has 2 years to run on his contract. Coach Damien Hardwick says while Dusty is a wanted player, he owes the club nothing.
He's paid us in spades. Whatever Dustin's decision is moving forward is up to Dustin, and to be honest, he has my blessing. Like, what he's given me, us, our fans, has been incredible, and whatever we get from here on in is a real bonus from my point of view.
The Adelaide 36ers have re-signed Nick Marshall for the next 2 seasons. The 22-year-old forward will continue as a development player before being promoted to the active playing roster for the 2023-24 NBL season. And Australian women's cricket coach Matthew Mott is the favourite to take the role as England's limited overs coach. Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
At Paynham, urgent gasworks, Portrush Road near Lewis Road. Belair burst water main there, Upper Sturt Road near Brolga Avenue, speeds reduced. Beulah Park, power line works on McGill Road near Annesley Avenue. That ends today at 4 o'clock. And at Fell, medium works on Glenburn Road near Yongala Street. Keep an eye out for cameras today. Jollytown Road, Lindock and Arthur Street at McGill. And wishing a big happy birthday to Flight Centre, celebrating 40 years of taking off. Visit their website to be in to win one of 40 epic holidays. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast. Showers this afternoon, 17. A shower or two tomorrow, 18. Thursday, partly cloudy, 18. And Friday, much the same, a top of 18. Right now, it's 15 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
A speeding stolen car crashes into an Adelaide building. 2 people hurt and 2 on the run. The price hike about to hit every Adelaide home. A new stroke treatment boosting recoveries. See the moment a tiny Adelaide girl becomes a roller skating world champion. And why dreams of Dixon could be dashed for power fans this weekend. I'm Brenton Raglis. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6. 1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the show. It is 7 minutes past 3 o'clock, and if you'd like to live stream, we are doing so now on Facebook and also YouTube. Welcome to those people. Little wave in the cameras there. It is time to talk motoring with Trent Nikolic, Managing Editor at drive.com.au. Good afternoon to you, Trent. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Jade. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really well, thank you. It's a nice sunny day here in Sydney. It's stopped raining, so it feels probably a little bit more like the weather's been down there for you guys, but everything's good, thank you.
Look, don't want to rub it in, but yeah, things are pretty sunny down here, but we won't talk about the elephant in the room. If you've got a question that you'd like to run past Trent, now's the time to give us a buzz. We'll be talking motoring for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to kick one off with a funny one we've got here. Bert, I'm hoping that I win the lotto on Thursday, so if I do, and if you had $500,000 to spend on a car, what would you buy?
Ooh, gee, that's a tough one, Bert. You know, what I would probably do, and this might sound a bit left field, I don't know that I'd buy a new car, Jade. I mean, you could get yourself on the order list for a bunch of new cars that you know are in demand, and then you could make money and profit on all of them. But I'd probably just pick whichever classic car floats your boat, whether it's a classic Porsche or a classic Ferrari or an old Australian muscle car or whatever it might be, and buy that, because I think, you know, classic cars like that, they've proven over the last 10 to 15 years to be as good as money in the bank. So I think if you were being smart about it, you'd probably get something like that. I suppose if you were just being purely emotional, you'd go and buy yourself a new Porsche 911 Turbo S or a Lamborghini Huracan or a Ferrari or something like that. But yeah, I reckon I'd probably put my money into an old car, drive it once a month, and just know that it's a superannuation investment.
Hope that helps you, Bert, and I hope you win the lotto so
yeah,
you can drive your dream car. We've got Alf on the line. Hi, Alf. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you? Look, I'm just seeking your opinion in relation to the drive-away price on new cars. I'm looking at a Isuzu D-Max Ute at the moment, and just wondering, like on the drive-away price, how negotiable are the dealerships on those prices?
Okay, so Alf, there's a few factors at the moment. As a general rule, and it's challenging at the moment, because normally at this time of year, I'd be saying to you, coming to the end of the financial year, if you go in and drive a hard bargain, you're going to get a really good deal. The issue at the moment, and the Isuzu D-Max that you're talking about, is two things. It's the best ute in the class at the moment, so it's the best dual cab. It shares a platform with a Mazda BT50, and they are our pick in the dual cab. That's the first thing. You're already onto the right vehicle there. The second thing that it is in high demand. So the problem with that is, from your perspective, when you go into a dealership, they're going to be very unlikely to let you drive a hard bargain with them if they've got a bunch of people that they know they can sell it to. And we've had instances where it's quite funny, Jade. People think that because we do what we do for a living, that we can just march into a dealership and just they give us whatever we want. But we've had staff at Drive go in and look at a car. Now they don't necessarily know who we are. We're just going in there blind. But we've had staff at Drive go and look at a vehicle like the one I was talking about there with that with the D-Max, and they've said the price is X, and you say okay, you're negotiable, and they go no, the price is what it is. If you don't like it, see you later. And I've got 5 other people who'll buy it this weekend. So I think you're going to have to get lucky with the specification that you're looking at. If it's not one that's got a really long waiting list, you might be able to push. What I would recommend you do, mate, is try to get a discount on the extras. Try to get them to throw in a few years' worth of free servicing or window tints or UV protection or stuff like that. That might be your best point.
And that's what I'm looking at the moment. There's a dealership that's just undergone a renovation, and they're promoting $1,000 worth of optional extras if you come in and deal with them. But the reality is the dealership that I was talking to will match that anyway. So I just wonder if it's semantics and if it's they all have the ability to be able to negotiate. Look, the D-Max X-Terrain and the MUX are both really sought after, and some of the prices, some of the time lines that are being bandied around the place are in excess of 12 months, and there's people that are selling cars that with 10,000 Ks on the clock for 70 odd grand, and they're getting that money for them.
For more than a new one. That's right. And look, the thing is, to answer your original question, and this is a relevant point for anybody who's listening, Jade, who's thinking about buying a new car. Nothing has changed in the last 2 years since the COVID situation started. That means a dealership cannot discount a car. They can still discount it the way that they used to. So the actual financial value, if they've got a drive-away price of 50 and you used to be able to get the thing for 47.5 drive-away, they could still sell you that car for 47.5 drive-away. The difference is the market now is so competitive that if I say, well, I don't want to pay 50 grand, there's 20 people behind me who'll pay at least 50, if not more. So the dealer just feels like they don't have to bargain to sell the stock. That's what's changed.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it, when everything corrects itself and then all of a sudden these people have actually got to work for a living and return customer service. Not saying all car yards, but some.
No, we joke about that up here, Jade. I've got a few mates who are in the real estate game, and I've said to them a few times, it's never been easier to sell a house in Australia than it has in the last 5 years, and there's plenty of cowboys in the industry that when things get a bit challenging, they'll be found out. So, I think if you're a dealership that's really looked after your customers through this period, you'll come out the other end way in front.
I've got a message here from Beth. I drive a 2016 VW Touareg. It's got about 60 kilometres. A few things are starting to go wrong with it. I think the coolant is starting to leak, so I'm getting that checked next week. But have you heard that things start to go wrong with them around this age?
No, not specifically, Jade, to answer that question. I think, things can go wrong with cars once they're 5, 6, 7 years old. And people need to understand as well that that doesn't necessarily mean that your car's a lemon or that it's faulty or that there's something wrong with it. There are things that go wrong, and coolant's a really good example that in a modern car, large sections of the cooling system feature plastic in them, and when plastic is heated up, cooled down, and goes to temperature extremes, you're going to have issues with degradation and damage. So I think there are things that will need to be replaced and looked at, but I wouldn't be getting rid of a Touareg because it's 5 years old. It's not going to fall apart next week, no.
And we've got Jimbo. Hey, mate, can you tell me the cost of a mint 1965 Ford Mustang left-hand drive?
Jimbo, that's a good question. It depends, I guess, on the condition of it. If it is in mint condition, like you said, it's at the moment probably like $40,000, $50,000. I'm just guessing a little bit, Jade, because I haven't looked at the price of them recently. But, early Mustang, that's the first year of production, iconic car, really good condition that you're saying there. If it's matching numbers and it's got the original engine, it's going to be worth at least something like that. So I think you can, as I've said to your listeners before, you can check that a little bit more forensically with a brand like Shannon's who insure them and have a look at what the auction results are and the sales prices are. But that's a pretty classic car, so it'll be worth a bit of money.
Beautiful, thank you. Thanks, Jimbo. We're going to take a really short break. If you've got a question that you'd like to run past Trent, now's the time to give us a buzz, 8223 0000.
Did you know that South Australia was the first place to legalise nude swimming? And more than just churches, Adelaide was originally known as the city of pubs and churches. True. And did you know that Automasters is one of Australia's fastest growing automotive service and repair groups, with over 75 branches across Queensland, South Australia and WA. So switch and save on logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
There's a hole in your budget, dear Labor, dear Labor.
Labor can't say how they'd pay for billions in extra spending. That means
More taxes are coming, more taxes with Labor.
it won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by Ahurst Liberal, Canberra.
1 in 4 Australian women experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Staying is dangerous, but leaving can mean homelessness for them and their children. With your generosity, the Salvos can provide crisis services and ongoing support, helping women find a way out of violence and a way back into a safe and stable life. Please donate to the Red Shield Appeal at salvationarmy.org.au to help the Salvos leave no one in need.
I'm Mark, an intensive care doctor at the Royal Adelaide Hospital. We've seen over 300 COVID deaths here in South Australia. I see the people behind these statistics, and most hadn't had their third COVID shot. If I can share just one piece of advice this winter, it's that being double vaxxed isn't fully vaxxed, and a third shot is your best shot at not catching COVID, spreading COVID, or ending up in hospital. Book your third COVID shot now.
A message from the Government of South Australia.
Calculating GST.
Help.
But automatically.
Thank you.
Preparing your BAS.
Oh, yeah.
But in a few clicks instead.
Oh, yeah.
With Xero, it's business but better. Start your free 30-day trial at xero.com.
Hi, I'm Jo Dyer, your independent candidate for Boothby. Australia's aged care system is bordering on collapse. Our healthcare sector and its people are at breaking point. Childcare is unaffordable for many families. We need to make access to appropriate care a priority for all Australians. Affordable, high-quality care at any stage of life. To achieve this change, you need to change your vote. Vote independent. Vote Jo Dyer for Boothby. Written, spoken and authorised by Jo Dyer, Kingswood.
We'll make the first $30,000 paid on a home loan tax deductible each year and restore the great Australian dream to a young generation that currently have it taken away from them.
Authorised by Craig Kelly for the United Australia Party, Brisbane.
So now you know who was the first to legalise nude swimming. You also know how to switch and save with Automasters. Logbook servicing, repairs, brakes, aircon and more. Call 1300 Automasters. Great service guaranteed.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon. We're talking motoring with Trent Nikolic, Managing Editor at drive.com.au. Trent, we've got lots of calls to get through today, so let's get straight into it. Daryl, welcome to the show. What would you like to talk to Trent about?
G'day, Jade and Trent. I was just been thinking for quite some time to upgrading to I've had Mitsubishi Triton Utes and Holden Colorado double twin cab Utes, and I've been thinking about the LDV twin cab Ute. I just wanted to gather your thoughts on what you think of those, and how would they go as far as holding their value, say, 4 or 5 years down the track?
Yeah, okay. So, Darryl, look, with something like a Triton, you've already had what is probably our pick of the value bunch. You know, I said to our previous caller there that the D-Max and the BT50 sit at the top of the segment, but when it comes to the Triton, you really can't go past it in terms of value for money. That said, the LDV T60 is really, really good value for money. It's probably the best of the Chinese-built vehicles that we've tested in any time that I've been with Drive. It's right up there now, challenging to sort of get its way into the top 5 or 6 in the segment. I think it's really good value for money. You get a lot of standard features. The last question that you had is the tricky one. So where I can say to you, I'm pretty confident that in 5 or 10 years' time, a Mitsubishi Triton will hold its value to X%. It's very, very hard to work out where the T60 will sit, what it'll be worth to someone in 5 or 6 or 7 years' time. So that is the one that you've got to go into the purchase eyes wide open as the buyer and say, I know I'm getting a good product now. I know it's good value for money. It's got a good warranty, but I don't know what it's going to be worth in 5 years or so.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Thanks for that.
Cheers. Thanks
No
very much,
problem, and good
Darren.
luck with it, mate.
Let's talk to Matthew in Salisbury. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, just had a question. My ears pricked up when you said about the Aussie muscle cars. And I've got a XB for Bob GT replica coupe. I'm just wondering what the value of those are on the market now.
We got Trent. Hang on, Trent. Let's get you back. You just dropped out for a second. We got you back there, mate?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Dave?
loud and clear.
Okay. Even the replicas have gone up, Matthew. So, once upon a time, those kind of vehicles there, unless they were a genuine GT and, they had all the matching numbers and everything, they weren't worth as much money. But I reckon replicas of a coupe like that, it's probably around the $50,000 mark as a minimum, I reckon, depending on the condition. But I don't
it's
think
in
that
really good condition, and the block itself is a GT block, and all the running gear is GT.
Yep, mate, I reckon it's going to be at least that, if not more, because there's plenty of people out there who want to be driving something that looks like that, and they just don't have the astronomical amounts of money to buy a matching numbers genuine GT, because a big coupe like that now is well over $100,000 for a genuine GT. So, yeah, yours is going to be worth a minimum of that, and I think, you just find the right buyer and you'll be putting a lot of money in your pocket.
Find two right buyers and let them argue.
That's it. Auction.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, mate.
Cheers. We got another Matt. This one is in Cumberland Park. Hello, Matt.
Yeah, g'day. Hey, so just a quick question regarding my eldest son who's just recently got his P's. He's saved hard. He's looking for a new car or a second-hand car, and of course, second-hand cars market's pretty hard to find something decent. But he's found his heart settled on a nice-looking Skoda Octavia. Now, I don't know much about Skodas, but, 125,000 Ks for a four-cylinder car for a car I don't really know what it's about. I don't know if you can fill me in on some blanks. Is it worth looking at?
It's absolutely worth looking at, Matthew. So Skoda is Volkswagen. So basically, they platform share within the Volkswagen group. Volkswagen has owned Skoda for quite a few years now. Originally in the Czech Republic, but now owned by the Germans. Particularly good cars. And as I say to a lot of people with any European car, is so long as it's got a full service history and it's been looked after, there's not going to be any nasty gremlins hiding in the closet for that one. It's not going to be an issue for you. If it's got a good service history and if it's been looked after, you won't have to worry about it. The other thing too is, those of us that used to look at cars 20 years ago and think, well, gee, 120,000 Ks is a lot. On a modern car that's been run with good oils and looked after, it's really nothing to worry about. So don't panic about that. The other thing that I think is worth mentioning, because you're putting your young bloke in it, is that it's a safe car. It's really well built. It was a 5-star safety rated car when it was brand new. So it's a good option for a young driver. Just make sure it's got the service history.
Awesome. That's really helpful. Thanks, mate.
No worries, mate. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Cheers. And we've got Darren. Hi, Darren.
Hi, how are you?
Really good, thank you.
That's good. I have a question. I have a 2018 Mazda BT50 that I use for my work. It's got 107,000 kilometres on it because I did a lot of country work. I'm now towing a caravan, a small one. It's only a 2-ton one, where the BT50s will pull 3.5 tons, no problems. I have noticed with the transmission every now and then since towing that it's a bit sluggish. When I go and to the service agent, who have been absolutely fantastic, Mazda dealer, all they do is check the condition of the transmission oil.
Mm-hmm.
Should I go to a transmission place and get it looked at or serviced? Because I don't seem to service transmission.
No. Most of the time these days, and this surprised me when they first started doing it, mate, but most of the time these days they're sealed for life transmissions, so automatic transmissions. So you don't actually need to replace the fluid unless you're rebuilding it for some reason. So you're right there that as a general rule they don't do it. I would ask Mazda to double or triple check, if they've already looked, the electronic calibration of it, which they can do by plugging it into their diagnostic equipment. I'd ask them to have a look at that. But if it's still doing anything funky when you're driving it and it feels a bit weird, absolutely go to a transmission specialist. I mean, that's what those guys do. They know that stuff inside out. and if there's any gremlins in there, they'll be able to find it. But I'd start again with Mazda first and just get them to check the electronic calibration of it.
Good luck. Let's talk to Wade, who is in Berry. Hi.
Hello, thanks for taking my call. I'm going to echo, I guess, one of the previous callers is that my son is looking for his first car. There's a local dealer here. We don't want to sort of pay too much, but we don't want to skimp either, or he doesn't. He's saved hard. We're not paying for it. And so there's a local dealer that has a 2014 Mondeo turbo diesel, 226,000 Ks, which does seem high-ish. We're going to go look at it this afternoon. So I was listening and I thought I'll give you a quick call.
Which year model was it again, mate? 2016, did you say?
2014.
2014. Yeah, Mondeo had some issues with transmissions. I don't know exactly what year it was. I just make sure that if there were any recalls that were issued for that vehicle, that it's been done, like that's been taken care of. And then the other thing is that it's, had the service history and it's been looked after, that kind of thing. But in terms of just the mechanics of driving it and as a car, fantastic, no problem at all. But I know that there were a few little issues with things like transmissions and they needed fluids replaced and stuff like that. So make sure that stuff is up to date. You don't have to worry too much about the kilometres. Modern cars routinely get to half.
Yeah, what you're saying previously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
don't have to worry too much about that. But what you don't want, when we're putting young people in cars, we want them to be safe. But the other key for me is we don't want their first motoring experiences to just be diabolical and, constant issues broken down on the side of the road. We don't want that, right? So I think if we can make sure that it's got a full service history and any work that needed to be done, any rectification work has been done, then you probably won't have a problem.
Good luck, Wade, and good on your son for saving up. Got one from Matt here. Can you ask Trent about the Renault Trafic and Mitsubishi, both the same van but different badges and prices? My issue is the 0-star ANCAP safety rating. How big of an issue is this?
Look, it's a big issue. I think, especially if you want to be safe. I've never understood, Jade, and it sounds funny when you talk about it, but I've never understood that commercial vehicles, where we put people in them to spend large chunks of the day driving, typically had the worst safety ratings. I just never understood that. Like, I get we want to put mum and the two kids or dad and the kids in the car and have them safe. But I don't understand why a courier driver or a tradie is any less important. So I think vans that aren't safe enough are a problem. In that segment, the two standouts right now are the Toyota Hiace, which is a bit more expensive, obviously, and the Hyundai Staria. They are both much safer than any of the other vans. And for me, I don't want to be one of those safety hounds, so to speak. I ride a motorcycle and they've got a 0 crash rating, right? So I don't want to tell everybody don't ever drive anything that's not a 5-star car. But I think if you're looking at a new vehicle, Jade, I'd go 5-star where you can afford it.
Beautiful. I hope that helps, Matt. Let's talk to Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi, guys. I'm just querying. We're going off to a dealership now to have a look at a new CX-5 Touring Mazda. Now, I'm trading in a 2014 Estina XD.
Yes.
When they originally gave me a trade-in price, we were looking at a second-hand car. Now we're going to go get a brand new car. Will they up that?
No, because the trade-in value of your car, if they've done it correctly originally, Robin, it should be what it is. So let's say, for argument's sake, and I'm just picking a number out of the air, just say your car's worth 15 grand to them. It's worth 15 grand to them whether you're spending 30 or whether you're spending 50. So the actual trade-in value of your car shouldn't change based on the vehicle they're selling you. But like I said to that previous caller, with the difficulty of driving a hard bargain with a new car, what I would do when you go to get your CX-5, excellent choice, by the way, when you go to get it, I'd be pushing them on things like window tints and paint protection and anything else extra you can get in there, because they may not be able to discount the price of the car.
Thank you so much, Robin. And Mark, we're so sorry. He was holding on for so long and we just didn't get a chance
Sorry, Mark.
Call next week, Mark, and we'll put you on the top of the list. Trent, thank you so much. We had a busy afternoon. Always appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jade.
Cheers. That is Trent Nikolic there, managing editor at drive.com.au. We're going to head into the newsroom now. Coming up after the break, National Day of Action targeting distraction on our roads. And we're also going to be talking to a former state umpiring manager, Pierce Field, about AFL female umpires. He has got a lot to say.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. The government has secured support from the Greens and SA Best to pass its new COVID legislation set to replace the Emergency Management Declaration. Police are investigating after a pedestrian was killed by a train at Alberton this morning. Anthony Albanese is under pressure to reveal if debt and deficits would be higher under a Labor government, and James Sicily has signed a 5-year contract extension with Hawthorn. The shower or two this afternoon, 17. Currently it's 15 degrees. More news at 4 o'clock and as it happens on 5AA.
There's a hole in your budget, dear Labor, dear Labor.
Labor hasn't balanced a budget in over 30 years, and their COVID response would have cost an extra $81 billion. Labor didn't even cost their health policy and can't say how they'd fund billions of extra spending in their platform. And that means
More taxes are coming, more taxes, more taxes. There's a hole in your budget, dear Labor, a hole.
it won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by AHERS Liberal Canberra.
If you have a personal alert system that relies on a landline and is connected to your NBN modem, then be aware it may not be able to make an emergency call during a blackout. It's a worry, but Care Alert has a solution. You could be eligible to upgrade your system to the latest Care Alert Smart Dialer for only $99. That's right, $99. That's a massive 75% off. For more information, go to carealert.com.au or call 1300 75 85 95.
Progress has been made to connect Australia's healthcare system. Now everyone can choose to get an electronic prescription, have a consultation with a doctor from home, and use My Health Record to view your COVID-19 dashboard, including boosters and test results. And there's more to come, connecting Australia to a healthier future and you to better healthcare. Find out more at digitalhealth.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Spoken by Dr. Andrew Rochford.
Where in Adelaide can you find more games, bigger jackpots, unique prizes, live entertainment, a members rewards program, VIP gaming, exclusive offers, 10 bars and restaurants, a cafe, a steak and seafood house, a French Vietnamese eatery, fine dining, contemporary Italian, cocktail bars, a pirate life brewery, a sports bar and a luxurious hotel, all under one roof.
Sky City Warehouse. The LDV G10 Plus manual gives you more van with 5.2 cubic metre capacity, 2 sliding cargo doors, plus a powerful 118 kilowatt diesel engine. And these big features come at a small price from just $33,490 drive away for ABN holders. Hurry now to get more van for your money. Visit a dealer today. LDV. Bring it on. New stock vehicles only. T's and C's and exclusions at ldvautomotive.com.au.
Hi, Nick Xenophon here. This election, you can vote differently. The green ballot paper is where you choose who forms government. The white ballot paper, where I'll be, is for the Senate, where I will stand up for South Australia because I give a damn. Vote 1 in Box O above the line on the white ballot paper to vote for me. Box O is just next to the Greens. Give me a go. Vote 1, Box O. Authorised by Nick Xenophon Paradise.
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Welcome back to Afternoons on 5AA with Jade Robran. It's 25 minutes to 4 o'clock. Coming up after 4 o'clock, Rowey Sports Show is also live streaming. If you'd like to catch the last few minutes of this show, you can jump onto Facebook or YouTube. We are live streaming. Did you notice the bucket ad in that ad segment then? Tammy just stared at me waiting for my reaction. I was like, oh, not again. I've got a message here from Marty. Hi, Jade, I'm with you. I can't stand that bucket ad either. I'm glad you're not playing it. I couldn't care what party is running it. I try and change channels when it's on. And then I got another message here, which I found quite funny today. It was from Adrian. Hi, Jade. I disagree disagree about how bad the hole in the budget jingle is. I actually like it. In fact, it's now my new ringtone. Very clever, Adrian. I'm so glad I don't have to stand next to you when your phone rings. I reckon I'd grab your mobile phone and I'd throw it in the River Torrens. Well, police around Australia united today to share one simple message. Stop getting distracted when you're behind the wheel. Seems pretty simple, but the message just isn't getting across. Superintendent Bob Gray, officer in charge of Traffic Services Branch, joins me after launching the National Day of Action. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
And Jade.
What's distracting us?
Look, it's all sorts of things from mobile phones to eating or drinking or bending down, picking something up off the floor of the car, or tending to an animal that might be in the vehicle with you, or feeding a child, or reading a magazine. It's all types of activity that takes your concentration away from the task at hand, which is either driving or walking safely on the roads or just using our road network safely.
It must be pretty bad if the police have to, unite Australia-wide to have a day of a national day of action.
It's unfortunately the biggest killer and the biggest cause of serious injury crashes across Australasia. In the last 5 years, I can tell you that in South Australia, we attribute 247 lives lost and 1,330 serious injury crashes where a lot of people that are involved in those serious injury crashes, their quality of life changes forever solely to distraction. So it is by far the biggest causation of lives lost and serious injury crashes on our road network.
Why do we keep doing this when we know it's dangerous?
I guess if we had the answer to that, that would be the silver bullet, but unfortunately we don't. We educate, we tell people how dangerous it is, but I suspect it's like a lot of things, Jade, and until it impacts on you directly, it's just something that you hear about and you don't pay much attention to.
How frustrating is this for you and your team?
It's extremely frustrating because 247 people losing their lives in 5 years and 1,330 people being seriously injured. A lot of people don't appreciate, A, the impact of the devastating loss of somebody that you love, and B, living with a significant residual injuries as a result of a serious injury crash. And the reality is they're all preventable.
When you pull people over, do they mostly own up and go, yeah, I was distracted, I was on the phone, I was, whatever, brushing my hair, eating my toast, whatever it is, or do they keep coming up with excuses? They're just in denial?
Well, from my experience, a lot of people that you do interact with acknowledge that they were distracted. But of course, there's people that refuse to acknowledge that. I've been at the traffic lights in uniform in a police car and people have pulled up on the phone next to you. So it's just, I think, a lack of appreciation of how serious this distraction can be to your own health and to the health of other road users.
The operation will run for the next 24 hours. What are you aiming to achieve?
What we're aiming to achieve is to see nobody lose their lives in that 24-hour period, particularly attributed to distraction, and nobody seriously injured during that period.
And so will we see a heavy presence around, both city and country over the next 24 hours?
You'll see a heavy presence, yes, in regional South Australia and in metropolitan South Australia, but generally, as a policing nation, you'll see a heavy presence of police right across Australia and New Zealand.
We see so many ads all the time, targeting distraction, driver distraction. Do you think they work?
I think it's like anything, and obviously everything that we put into media campaigns, we evaluate and look at what the public are telling us and what the cut-through is. But I guess there's a cohort of people that just don't want to pay attention to what's actually being put in front of them. They just want to disregard it and go about their business and do what they want to do, really not reflecting on what the consequences for themselves and other road users can be.
Would you like to see the state get tougher on penalties? Do you think that could have cut through?
We've got pretty severe penalties for driving distracted. I mean, it's a $646 fine, and it's three demerit points, so it's not insignificant.
What about distraction? Is it getting worse?
Over the last 5 years, it is getting worse.
Oh, it must be that frustrating for you. Thank you very much, Superintendent Bob Gray there, Officer in charge of Traffic Services Branch at SAPOL. Quite unbelievable, isn't it? Distraction, it's the highest fatal contributing factor for both lives lost and serious injuries in SA. 247 lives lost over the last few years. It's quite unbelievable, isn't it? And 69% of distraction-related lives lost and 53% of distraction-related serious injury crashes occurred in rural areas on regional roads. So you just wonder what goes through some people's mind. Is it, that you want to be on your phone, you can't miss that text message, or, you don't like what's on the radio, so you're, downloading an app. Are you trying to, I don't know what it is. I was talking to someone the other day and they said, I had a car accident about 6 months ago, and you won't believe it, but the woman was playing a PlayStation, a handheld device or something like that. And I thought, what do you mean? A video game? And yeah, it was just playing a video game. Oh, sorry about that. I was just, I take it in the car when I'm stuck in traffic on the way to work. Now, it wasn't here in SA. It was a friend of mine in Melbourne on the Nepean Highway, which can get chock-a-block. But I thought, fair dinkum. You know what you're doing. Every morning you pack this device in your car so that when you're behind the wheel and you have to sit in traffic, here you are playing a video game. You know that that's wrong. You know that you'd be risking someone else's life. It's just bizarre. We've got Debbie on the line from South Plimpton who's called in. Welcome to the show, Debbie.
How you going, Jade?
I'm good. What would you like to talk about?
Oh, hey, I want to tell you about something weird I came across with Medicare this afternoon.
Yeah.
I had to get my son a sick certificate because he's unwell and he works, and he's definitely unwell and he cannot go anywhere to see a doctor, right? He's very germy. And so we ring up for a telehealth consult, which, Medicare is pushing and the government is saying, do all your consults over the phone, keep healthy. But because he's a healthy guy and he hasn't been to the doctor in over 12 months, Medicare won't sign off on the appointment because he hasn't physically been in the surgery in 12 months.
What?
Isn't that a stupid loophole that they've forgotten about, obviously?
Why would that
I think
matter?
someone needs to alert the health minister. No idea. And we've been going to this surgery, they've seen my son since he was a week old and he's nearly 20, or nearly 21. So they're the only surgery we've ever had. But yet, because he hasn't physically been in there in 12 months, Medicare won't
because
cover
you're
it.
healthy and that you haven't been a drain on the system for whatever reason, and you've not had to tap into Medicare, we'll now punish you.
Yeah, and you're doing what we're asking everyone to do, which is do telehealth consults, so you don't have to go into the surgeries and pass germs around. Yeah, isn't it crazy?
Well,
I'm sure I'm not the only one that's come across that. But I think the health minister needs to know about it nationally.
Absolutely. That is absolutely bonkers. And do you
Isn't
know
it crazy?
what, Debbie? Here we are talking about coronavirus and the flu. And, more and more we're hearing how bad the flu is and that some people are losing their life because of that. Now, what if your son is so sick that some stupid loophole like this is stopping him from getting treatment?
Well, I mean, if I thought he was really bad, I'd send him to the hospital. But yes, in this situation, so now I have to get a locum to come here, but then I'm exposed, in today's world, they shouldn't want to come inside either because he's unwell.
Absolutely. Oh,
that's nuts. But Medicare won't do it if they haven't seen you in 12 months. So I think probably it's just an oversight, but what a ridiculous thing. I'm sure I'm not the first person that's come across it. But I think it needs to be addressed, definitely, really quickly.
Yeah, we'll put it on their radar for sure, Debbie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in and letting us know. We'll pop it on their radar and see what that reaction is. But look, hopefully it's just a little glitch on the radar and that they look into it and realise that, whoopsie daisy, we need to fix that ASAP. We're going to take a short break, and then coming up afterwards, Rowey will let us know what's happening on the sports show. And we're going to talk to a gentleman who was the former state umpiring manager about this damning report that's come out about AFL female umpires. You would have heard of the South Australian umpire Eleni Gluftis. Well, there's been some information that's come to light in a few of the eastern states' papers today about her treatment. Peace Field is a gentleman's name. He's talking out about it today and how badly she has been treated. That's coming up next.
Keep an eye out for the FIVEAA Street Team out and about in the sleek and stylish Mazda BT50. From Gawler to Goolwa, Salisbury to Seaton, you can catch the team all over Adelaide. Check the 5AA socials to find out where they'll be next. They could be in a suburb near you. The 5AA Street Team, on the road for Edwardstown Mazda. Buying your first Mazda, trading your old vehicle, or getting your car serviced. It's got to be Edwardstown Mazda. edwardstownmazda.com.au.
Great news from Dave Benson Caravans. They have just secured the brand new range of Cedar Caravans. Cedar Caravans are 100% Australian made and offer premium quality couple vans, bunk vans and off-road vans. And the best part? They are all ready for delivery right now. Yep, no waiting. So get your caravan sooner and start your holiday journey in a new 100% Aussie-made Cedar Caravan. Exclusive to Dave Benson Caravans, where your adventure begins. 64 Grand Junction Road, Kilburn.
What about cleaners?
Yep.
Mechanics?
Builders? Oh, yeah.
Whatever hard work you do, Cbus are making your money work as hard as you.
Power workers?
Yep.
Factory workers? What about truckies?
What do you think?
Cbus Super, making hard work pay off. To consider if Cbus is right for you, go to cbussuper.com.au for a PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Mini Jumbuck, Australia's favourite wool bedding products, are now located in McLaren Vale, just a short drive from Adelaide and close to some of the region's best wineries and distilleries. Call into Mini Jumbuck for their great range of quality Australian-made wool bedding products to suit all sleepers and all climates. You'll love their extensive range of Australian-made quilts, mattress toppers and pillows. Sleeping with wool allows your body to adjust to its ideal temperature, so you'll sleep more peacefully and wake refreshed. If you're looking to improve your quality of sleep, start with a visit to Mini Jumbuck in McLaren Vale. They also stock a huge range of genuine sheepskin Ugg boots and quality merino wool clothing. For Australia's favourite wool bedding products, call into Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale, open 7 days.
There's a hole in your budget, dear Labor, dear Labor.
Labor can't say how they'd pay for billions in extra spending. That means
More taxes are coming, more taxes with Labor.
it won't be easy under Albanese. Authorised by AHERS Liberal Canberra.
Have you been putting off your life admin? Sorting out your wardrobe can wait, but sorting out your will shouldn't. At Morris Blackburn, our expert lawyers make setting up your will simple. Search Morris Blackburn My Life Wills to complete the online form. We'll then schedule a 30-minute consultation to discuss your needs, prepare your will, and store it at no extra cost. To protect your loved ones, head to morrisblackburn.com.au/create my will.
You've selected the block for your new permanent or holiday home. Now it's time to visit the Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village. Walk through the Esperance, stylish and modern 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and large open plan living. The Hallett, spacious 2-bedroom design. And the Inman 4. Plenty of living space for the family with 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, dual living areas and carport. Take a look. Selector Homes and Building Solutions, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
Walking regularly to school is a great way to exercise. But until they're 10, children must always hold an adult's hand when crossing the road. Friday, 20th of May is National Walk Safely to School Day. If you can't walk all the way, combine a walk with public transport. If you must use a car, leave it a good distance from school and walk the rest of the way.
And remember, active kids are smarter kids.
Find us at walk.com.au, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Afternoons. And of course, coming up after Afternoons, it's Rowey's Sports Show at 4 o'clock and he joins me now. What's happening on your show? Can you not? I will get this off my head and I will throw it at you.
I know. I can't get that damn jingle out of my scone. I'm out there.
Stop it!
And you did. You nearly threw something at me.
I
anyway.
actually get a physical reaction to it.
It's all over this Friday.
Tonight. Tonight, no more ads. Hallelujah. Oh, Tammy's just told me it's tomorrow night, but our marketing guy told me tonight.
Okay,
Don't tell me I've got another 24 hours. I'm calling in sick tomorrow.
Oh, no. Hey, Kevin Sheedy joins us. He's going to talk about the standard of umpiring, how to fix it.
Okay.
I need advice on that.
We do know the Crows wrote to the AFL Umpires Board for a bit of a please explain. We will cover that. Studs in live, and Gian Rooney's in town for the national swimming titles. That starts tomorrow. If you can get out there, do yourself a favour. It is brilliant. The night time is the finals. I went last year to the Olympic trials. We had a great pool, and you're going to see the world's best.
My kids would love that. I didn't even know it was on.
They're on from tomorrow through to Sunday.
Oh, I'm there.
So all the stars.
Oh, cool.
Do it.
I would love that. Honestly, you
All right,
need to get out. I will flog you. I hate it that much. Oh, my God. I'm going to snap. He thinks he's funny, but I'm going to get revenge somehow. Well, the AFL has been in the spotlight for its treatment of female umpires in the sport. South Aussie umpire Eleni Gluftis has become the face of female umpiring. She's the only on-field ump at the top level. I personally think she's an absolute ripper, but there are reports today that the league hasn't been very supportive of her and claims she was nothing more than a KPI for the league. We spoke to the author of the report about the treatment of female umps a few weeks ago. In that report, Eleni wrote a foreword which said, quote, "In reading this research, I felt frustrated that girls and women in umpiring roles are still facing the same obstacles and challenges that I faced almost 16 years ago." Former state umpiring manager Pierce Field was also interviewed for the report, and he joins us now. Pierce, thank you very much for joining the program. What do you think the AFL why do you feel that the AFL hasn't been supportive of Eleni?
Thanks for having me on, Jade, and good afternoon to all your listeners. The question around female women in umpiring and going back to this morning's commentary, article in the News Limited papers, so in the Adelaide Advertiser, is that taking out Eleni as the individual here and knowing that she's a really terrific person, she has absolutely shown character and strength more than most other officials that I have ever coached. And I can say that hand on heart, given that what she has had to deal with in a very short space of time. My issue with the way that the AFL have treated Eleni is that it's purely been done to tick some bloke's KPI box in Melbourne. And to me, that is not how you set up sustainable pathways for people. There has been no work done by the AFL since Eleni's appointment. And it goes to show, looking at the AFLW, where we still have at least 75% of those matches being umpired by men 5 years into the competition.
What support do you feel like they should have given her?
Not tokenistic support, but it needed to be support that was actually realistic. Mm-hmm. So we need to look up. It's not for me to speak to Eleni's career breakdown by breakdown, but when you take an umpire out of state league football and then expect them to perform them at AFL footy, if they're not quite there at AFL level, then they're set up to fail. And it's the same with any athlete, whether you're a footballer, you're an umpire, you're a cricketer. If you're pushed towards something that you're not quite ready for because you haven't had that experience and that development, purely because you just haven't reached that stage in your career, we actually have to ask ourselves, have the AFL just done this to tick a box? Are they doing it just to get government funding? And C, is it just some look on some bloke's resume that actually means nothing in the outset? And if you come back to the umpiring report and what was actually mentioned, as you said in your prologue, Eleni has specifically called out things that haven't changed in 15 years. And the fact that we're here 15 years later still talking about it on a report that was, mind you, buried by the AFL because of the embarrassment it would cause them, to me, it just suggests that nothing has changed. And the fact that Eleni's been so, what's the word I'm looking for here, intimate, and really, she's really described what she has gone through to a lot of detail. To me, as someone who's coached umpires, I feel that they just haven't put the athlete first. It's been all about ticking a box, and that's not how you bring in anything that's new to the game. Because all of a sudden, as Daisy Pearce mentioned this morning, is that it all becomes about Eleni. Eleni's not going out there to be the centre of attention. No umpire is. Maybe Razor Ray, right? Maybe. But at the same time, you can't have you can't have one person, one member of that list copying everything. And because of the AFL's way in terms of how they are just interested in ticking those boxes without actually any rational follow-up, it presents a problem. And you know what? I would ask your listeners to consider about Port Adelaide coming into the AFLW competition. Those girls still don't have a start date for their season next year.
The AFL report, it's been in their hands now for a couple of weeks. What's your thoughts on their reaction to it?
Poor.
Yeah.
Again, this is Gil McLachlan getting away with not taking responsibility. How many times do the AFL need to be called out, whether it's the Essendon saga, whether it's the West Coast report, whether it's the Melbourne tanking dilemma? How many times have they been called out in this kind of circumstance and they've gotten away with it?
Pierce, thank you so much. That's Pierce Field, former state umpiring manager in New South Wales and ACT. There's going to be plenty more that plays out from this report. It's certainly not going away, and it feels like more and more, people are coming forward in regards to the treatment. I know the AFL, they want to have around 40% of female umpires in the league. I think it's around 2% at the moment. So there is a long, long way to go, and hopefully they can mend a few bridges. And we do see that uptake because, what Eleni does is absolutely brilliant. That is the end of the show today. Rowey Sports Show is coming up next. Thanks for joining the program today. Have a fantastic afternoon. Bye for now.
There's a hole in your budget, dear Labor, dear Labor.
Labor hasn't balanced a budget in over 30 years.